Today I'll be talking about the Photoshop to Character Animator to Unreal Engine workflow. This is a 2D character workflow that I use for the boss fight render challenge. So I'm going to take you through that character pipeline today. Step 1, character creation within Photoshop. So we'll create a new document, 1920 by 1080, transparent background, put the resolution at 300, and I labeled it character underscore whatever your character name is. So I'll put that example actually up here as we start to define the folder structure for the character. So we need to define folder structure with the correct names and I guess elements so that character animator can be defined or tagged or shown which folders or which layers are which body parts. So here we create a mid profile. Usually for my characters I have the character name as the root, and then I have mid and side as the two profiles. For each mid and side they have a head and a body. Body has left arm, left leg, right leg. Head has the eyebrows, eyes, and mouth. So as we go through, I now have a head folder, a body folder. The body itself, I start to draw on the layer called body. So this is just a root layer within the body folder. And then I begin to create some legs. So first thing you want to do, obviously, is define your character folder structure. And then the second thing you want to do is add layers and create character art underneath each of those folders. So that's what I'm doing here. I kind of just create one side and then duplicate the layer, pull it into the other side. So that's how I'm getting these duplicated and created so quickly. And obviously I draw like a 2-year-old, so it's nothing too crazy going on here. Here I create the eyes. We have the backing eye and then the pupil itself. So the pupil has a plus. That plus makes the, I guess, the layer independent within Character Animator, which for the eye or the pupil example will allow it to move around the eyeball there. So I saved it as I was blabbing on there. I saved the file as character underscore example since it's my character. Once it's saved, we can now move into Character Animator. Step 1, open Character Animator, open your File Explorer, drag the Photoshop file into the project panel. So now that we got the Photoshop file up in the project panel, you can see it's labeled or is a type puppet now. And as I click on these layers, you can see over on the right hand side that the eyes and the mouth and the eyebrows and all that good stuff is already labeled. But as I click the body, you can see there's nothing here. It may possibly just be the names that I chose here, but typically I kind of go through here and define these with the tag system that they have over on this right hand side. So I took the origin point where I connected it to the body and then define that as the shoulder. Do the same thing here again, so attach it to the body, define that as the shoulder, elbow, and then I'll add the wrist to there. And now for the wrists on both the arms and the heels for the legs, I'll add draggable modifiers. So these draggable modifiers will allow us to drag the hands and the feet around as we're recording to give it kind of a puppet-like animation and to just give it quick animations. I like to set it up that way. So you can see here I click back on the heel, then click the draggable again, and I go attach the leg to the lower part of the body, label that as hip, go through knee, ankle, heel, toe. Once I got the legs and the arms defined, I just double check on the body to make sure that I have the waist and the neck also defined. So if you're missing any of these points over on the right hand side under tags for your character will not map correctly to some of the functionality or the modifiers that you can attach to your character, like limb IK. So if you don't have the neck or the waist and you add limb IK to your character, like I'm doing here, I'm adding limb IK to the mid profile, so that this profile will have its own set of functionalities. So here, if you don't have the limb IK set up, your character won't be bouncing around like this. So after I set that up, I created a new scene, come in here, and then I start recording. So each time I record, I just start from the beginning. I grab one dragger and record that dragger through the whole duration, or the 5 seconds there. So now I have the draggers on the hands and the body. I like my animation. I think the animation looks great here. So now what I want to do is file export PNG, sequence, and wave. I will pick a folder to put all of these PNGs, or to put the frame-by-frame animations in here. And this is what we'll use for Unreal Engine's flipbooks. So within Unreal Engine, we will tab back here and drag our frame-by-frame animations in. First, I'll start off on a new boss fight scene. I will then create a folder which we can store these frame-by-frame animations. I just called it example or paper 2D because that's what it is in Unreal. Pull them in, sprite actions, create sprite. Right-click the sprites, create flipbook. I did that really fast, but as long as you control spacebar and open your content browser after importing, all of those will be highlighted by default. So I import them, control spacebar, right click all of them, create sprites, and then after that's done, control spacebar again for the content browser, and then right click to create flipbook. So here I just pulled the flipbook into the scene. I now am looking through the sequencer and the camera, so I can see the view. I'm putting a basic animation on play rate. And now for here, this is how you start the flipbooks from the beginning. You set up an event, you add a keyframe, you go to properties and quick bind, and then start from beginning. So here I'm running a custom event on my flipbook, and then also I hit call in editor there, make sure call in editor is checked. But essentially I set up a event that calls every time that I go past it in the sequencer. It tells the flipbook to play from the beginning. So that's what we did here. So this is how we can get reliable position of our animations throughout the sequencer. And then lastly is the rendering portion. So this is, I guess, optional since I'm using Unreal Engine to After Effects. You can use Unreal Engine to Premiere Pro or Blender or any software that has the ability to stitch together the frames. So here I just go through, I add anti-aliasing, 164, check that, 120, 120 at the bottom. Council variables, I got these all from the Unreal Engine documentation. So you can, maybe I'll put a link there or something like that. But and then lastly, this is where we want to output to. So I just create a folder for that. And then once we have a location and all of that data, double check the resolution. This is 1920 by 1080, but the boss fight was 1920 by 810. So I'm rolling with this resolution. I'll accept, I'll render local, let that render through. So now this will render each frame, sequencer. Now that that's done, we have all of our frames. So I got all my nice looking frames through the sequencer here in this directory. I will tab into After Effects, pull each of these frames into their own folder. Those import. From there, I will create a new comp. This comp will be the same resolution and frame rate as the, I guess, the ripped scene that we had in Unreal Engine. So make sure they match frame rate. So I'll create a new comp, and then I will import all of the images. I I will trim the images to 1 frame, and then I will sequence them. So here I do Alt and right square bracket, which trims them all. Get them all trimmed. Select the first one, Control A, right click, and then I will go to Sequence Layers. We got them all sequenced. Play it back. Voila. There's our new boss fight challenge submission. Thank you for watching.